and he said 20 degrees. Didn't stand a chance. Tuesday, November 15th, and I'm really excited this morning because we're catching up with a good old friend of ours coming out of North Kakalaki. Of course, we're talking to Terry Vuncannon, and believe me, it's going to be fun catching up with my good friend again. But first of all, let me do this. Galaxy. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and really happy to have everybody joining us. If you're a first time, viewer, well, I tell you what, this is going to go over onto YouTube a little later on. Why not sub, and then thumb, and then bell, literally, sub, thumb, bell. Bell notifications when we have important people, much like Terry Vuncannon, joined today by Bengy Johnson. Looking forward to talking to Bengy, and believe me, I think we're going to get on really well being engineers ourselves and, all sorts of stuff. So that's going to be fun. But then, while you're there, thumb, like us. Get epileptic with that. Go on, I double, triple dare you. My age, do it. Absolutely. And, well, why not subscribe? Become part of the family here at Galaxy. We call our fans the noise because it's growing exponentially every day. Come on, be a part of the noise, literally. In the meantime, let me tell you how happy we are to be in association with Rise Up TV, Big Records, Sony Music, The Orchard, here with Galaxy.
Another indie artist interview brought to you by Galaxy 107 FM in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record and Sony Music The Orchard.
And let me tell you, everybody is joining in this morning. Sandy Homer's joining us, and Nick Blues coming out of the UK from the Heartland Roots Band. Love you, Nick. We really do. Michelle Lee, hello. Our Queen of Country Music's joining us. Nice to have you on board too, Michelle. Lightning Rod Wilson. Wow, it has been a dog's age since we've caught up, Lightning. It really has been. And of course, Trevor Lowry is joining us as well. Paul Harkins from the Heartland Roots Band out of the UK is joining us as well. Chris Andreas, love you, Chris. We really do, and hope to catch up with you before Christmas time, at least, Chris. Wolf Milestone is joining us. Nick Blues again. Glenn Peters is watching, and Juan Hobert the second is watching as well. Cindy Davenport in there. The list just goes on and on, and I'm going to cover everybody very shortly. But first of all, today we're talking to a good friend of ours, Terry Vuncannon, coming out of North Carolina, and he's joined today by Bengy Johnson. Now, believe me, looking forward to this, but first of all, let's do a little cruising down the road, yes? And Terry, would you believe, is joined by other artists. We're going to talk about that very shortly. Here's Cruise Down the Road. So, Bengy, can you see me now?
Yeah, man.
I feel sorry for you. You should have stayed blind.
Hey, I'm the one that didn't dress for a video live stream today. I just dressed for work, and here I am.
Well, neither did I. I never dress. Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm sorry, Terry. I didn't put your shirt on this morning.
That's okay. You wear it enough to suit me. It looks good every time you wear it, man.
Hi, Michelle.
It really does. And
Hi,
believe me, I'm
Sandy.
proud to wear your brand. I really am. John Pater's joining us. Hello,
Hi,
John. Nice
Hey,
to have
John.
you. Yeah. I see Ashley's doing absolutely superbly with Curtain Call Records.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara. Brian Wayne Perry is on board as well. Nice to have you back, Brian. It really is. Now, Bengy, first time I've met you, sir, and I got to be honest with you, if you can see me right now, this here is Terry Vuncannon's bio. Screeds and screeds of information. Yours, on the other hand, what happened?
I'm a man of few words.
I see that, but the important words are right here, and believe me, Bengy, I love this, I really do. I love music.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the caption right there. Period. Bang. Love that.
That's what keeps you going every day, man. I mean, it's what people. I have interns, and it's funny. Drayson may be here now. Hey, Drayson, are you here? All right. So I have interns, and it's funny because I'll be sitting working on a session of any kind. It could be music, could be, I work on a lot of different stuff, and
Right.
I'll be sitting there in the chair for 4 hours, man, and it's like you just concentrate. I'm just concentrating. I know what my end game is. I know what the goal is, that I need to accomplish. And they'll look at me after the session and they'll say, how can you sit there for so long? And I'm like, that's what you end up doing. That's my job. That's what I'm here for.
Benji?
There's no lunch break.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend. Believe me, I know what you mean. I really do. I get to work here, I'm not kidding, between 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night, and I might be lucky to leave here by about 6, 7 o'clock, and the amount of hours sitting in this particular chair is just phenomenal. It really is.
Right.
Dale Cole's joining us. Nice to have you on board, Dale, and Sean Rivers is joining us as well. Terry, you're rather quiet. What's up?
Oh, I'm just letting you get to know Benji. He's one of my favorite people in music. He's done so much to help me, and you getting to meet him is a plus.
Well, it's an honour to meet Benji. I got to be honest with you. When I first read the bio, I looked at Barbara and went, "Can't wait for this. Really can't." So.
I don't know which bio you got, but is it the one I paid good money for? Or is
Yeah,
it the
all
one
one page of it. It must have been.
Well, and as you can see here, we're in the big room.
Yeah,
Earth tones, and got the amplifiers and the effects for the guitar players
Terry,
and bass players.
I'm just going to
bass
cut in here, my bro. We're going live to the desk, okay?
Cool.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, excuse me, absolutely in my element because I'm catching up with a good friend of ours. Yes, I'm talking about Terry Vuncannon, and making a new acquaintance this morning with Benji Johnson, coming from Earth Tones Recordings, and believe me, I want to know more about that. But first of all, welcome to the show, guys. Nice to have you back, Terry.
Good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. And Benji, nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you guys.
Now, Benji, I got to ask you a question. Are you sort of a, I don't know, a moonlight type of guy?
What do you mean by moonlight? Just
What?
the time of day that I work, or are you saying this is, what do you,
I've got you stumped, haven't I?
not really. I actually have 3 answers. I just don't know which question you're shooting for.
Okay, well, let me put this in another kind of way. I'm looking at your decorations in the background there, all of those lights. I'm kind of thinking,
yeah.
There's a fascination with this.
So this guy up here, this big, moon-looking ball light, is, I don't know if you can really see. I don't know how the camera's situated, but it's a big, massive kind of sphere behind me, and there was a guy down the way. Hey, you can barely see that. Hey, Drayson, come here for a second. I'm gonna get my intern. I actually have. That's the greatest part about doing this. I actually have interns, and they're awesome. Can you take that camera and just point it up just a teeny tiny
Just
bit?
let it back up.
Just point it up a teeny tiny bit.
There you go.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Now, you see the big massive spear hanging up there behind me, is like it was a gift from a guy down the way. He had it hanging in his video studio, except it hung in the middle of his room, kind of like this room, and it hung down low, and it's all the light they had on when they worked. So all you could see when you walked in this big room was the lights from the computer screens where they were editing video and photos, and then this big moon looking light. And so I said, man, that's a really cool light. And he was moving locations after I had just moved in here, and he showed up at the door, and it's one of those paper lantern things, and he had had it all flattened out, and he was just holding it in his hands, and he said, hey, did you say you like this thing? And I was like, what is it? And he said, it's that big light. Do you want it? I'm moving. And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love it. So it hangs over there by the brick. Yeah, that's
mood lighting.
And then you're probably talking about the tapestry thing over here.
Well, I was
laying up against the wall.
Yeah, I was going to head towards that, but more importantly, I'm looking at these little wax lights that you have behind you as well. What, there's about 5 of them
Lava
there?
lights.
Yeah, the lava
Oh, yeah,
lamps.
the lava lamps.
I mean, we used to have those around, late 60s, early 70s? Hello?
I know, right? Right? I'm telling you, man.
Nice to see a bit of nostalgia, I got to be honest with you. And believe me, loving it. I really am. The view is fantastic, especially the marshals in the background. It kind of partial to a marshal or two myself. So it's nice to see that. Having said that, now let's get right into the mix of things. Terry, we opened up the show with Cruise on Down the Road. Now,
And it's good hearing that. I got to play that this weekend with Doug Davis singing and Ron Hutchins on keyboards and what we were calling the North Carolina Songwriters Band, and had a little crowd down there. We were hoping for 150, 200, had about 250 people Friday night for a benefit down in Asheboro, and it was just a real thrill for me to get to play that song with the people that recorded it. It was fun.
That's fantastic. And how is Doug, by the way?
Doug is doing good. Christy was there. We got to do Carolina Blue with Christy singing. And it was just things that I never thought I would get to do during the COVID shutdown. Music and singles and things I've recorded. Got to play them live with the people I recorded with. And it was just a life moment. Fun.
Absolutely brilliant, my friend. Do you feel that, life is coming back to normal now?
It'll never be normal. Just like the old record industry, when streaming come out, it'll never be normal. What was normal 20 years ago, 10 years ago. COVID took a chunk out of the music business, but it will be a new scene that will flourish, and it's starting to come back. As Benji will tell you, he's so busy with so many projects recording people that are doing stuff on a higher level than what I would never imagine being able to do myself. But there is music happening again.
Very, very cool. Now, Benji, if you have a few bands that you think we might be interested in, please forward them to Barbara. I'm sure we'll have a look at those as well. Okay, my bro?
Oh yeah, man. I've got stuff in here. I'm actually I've completed 4 or 5 sets of masters this past probably month. I've had 4 or 5 different full releases that I think you guys would love. It's great. It's good stuff. And so I can get those. I can definitely get them in touch with you as far as all of their material, and all that. That'd be really cool. I got plenty of stuff to send your way, so we'll definitely swap out info when we're done, and that way I can get you some good stuff.
Absolutely brilliant. Jan Paulson is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Jan. And Rick McSheffrey is joining us as well. John loves Terry's music as well. John Pater says...
Thank you.
Now, at the same time, Benji, I want to talk about Earth Tones recordings. Now, you've been around for a little while. Tell me a little bit about it. As an engineer, do you think maybe, just maybe, there might be a job there for me?
Man, I'm telling you, it's getting busy enough where I definitely need an extra set of hands. That would be fun. You come on over, I'll put you to work. That's for sure.
Well,
that is for sure.
I would love to come on over and absolutely do a bit of work with you, Benji. I really, really would. You never know, I might learn something. After about 37 years, I think I've forgotten more than I've learned, so you might be able to teach me one or two things. Having said that, and I'm really, really happy about this because, well, we've been playing this for a little while, but not really have we officially released this to the world. And everybody knows it's done by Terry Vuncannon, now by Benji Johnson, as I presume you are the lead singer in this particular track called Bucket List.
Yeah, that's sure enough. Terry graciously asked me to participate in this one, and he's graciously asked me to participate in some of the other ones in various forms. I would handle the recording of the stuff and mixing, recording and mixing the tunes that he would bring in, and then somehow I would end up on them with a regular guitar track with him playing the steel. I would end up with a regular 6-string guitar track or a bass track or something like that. Like if he would line up players and then say, hey, could you play bass on this? And I'd say sure, and we would do the bass track. So with this one, he talked to me about our buddy Snooze co-writing it with him, and he said Snooze had a good idea to have you sing on it. I said, man, I'm down with it, because I've known Snooze for a long time, as Terry has also, and he's an awesome resource, and he's just a good soul, and I've known him for a long time, and I know the way that he writes. I picked up a lot of writing tips from listening to his records years ago, so I knew kind of what was coming at me. I knew it wasn't anything that I couldn't do, so Terry said, Snooze will come over and produce, and we'll just do it. And I said, man, that's even better, so I don't have to worry about any of the shot calling. I can just stand in there and sing, which I very rarely get to do. So I played bass on it, and sang on it, and we had everybody from... Yeah, I did harmony parts. We had everybody from Terry do some parts, and a couple of my interns even got in on the chorus, I think. But it was a fun one. It was a really, really good one, because I hadn't gotten to see my buddy Snooze in a long time also. So having Terry in, and then myself in the studio, and then Snooze in, we all three kind of got to hang out. And doing this, you don't get a lot of time to have a lot of hang time with friends, like between this and my family, that's it. My friends are people who exist in my studio, and that's really about it. I don't get a lot of friend time, as we might say. So it was really good to hang out and reconnect with Snooze after years of not seeing him. And so it was more of a hang while we actually recorded a song than it was work by any means. I hesitate to ever call this work. I'll call it my job, but it's like, just imagine whatever you love to do and just going to work and doing it every day. So I'm really fortunate to do that.
Yeah, well, Benji, work is a 4-letter word anyway, so believe me. The weird thing is that people pay us to do the jobs that we do, and,
Exactly.
It's just so much fun at the same time. Chris Roick is joining us. He says, you've got lots of fans in the US, Grant. Well, thank you, Chris. Nice to have you on board too, by the way. Gay Miranda's joining us. And Donnie Coulter. Donnie, absolute pleasure. And was very interested in that particular clip you sent to Barbara the other day. Fascinating about Helix, it really is. And we'd love to talk to you more about my wicked twin and you being a drummer for them. Fascinating, brilliant. And love to Brian as well. Now, guys, at the same time, we're talking about the bucket list. And Terry, there's a couple of things I want to ask you. First of all,
Here it comes.
Here it comes, literally. You want to come to New Zealand?
Someday I hope to. It's on the wife's, as a matter of fact, it's on my wife's bucket list.
So she would be the one that you know who you're going to bring.
Well, the minute y'all mentioned to me a year ago or more about coming down here and playing some music, I knew I wanted to do it. And after the interview, she said, if they invite you to New Zealand, we're going, because I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. So I knew then, well, the wife wants to go, we'll go.
Okay, now, second thing is surfing. How good are you?
I'm not good at surfing at all. That's why it would be on my bucket list to go surfing in New Zealand, because I can't surf, and if you can teach me to surf in New Zealand, you're good.
Yeah, well, we can arrange that, and certainly I can throw you out of a perfectly good aeroplane as well. But the thing that worries me the most, my friend, is you want to mess with hurricanes? Seriously?
Well, actually, we had a hurricane come through North Carolina, a month and a half ago, and I actually went outside and ran through the hurricane.
Mate, I want to see video of that.
He hasn't told me that yet. That's great.
Yeah. And actually, I did that years ago. I was in a traveling band. We were in Panama City when a hurricane came up through the Gulf. And they relocated the band for 2 nights in a little place called Dothan, Alabama.
I know where Dothan is.
Yeah, I know.
My Lord.
And I had said years before, when I quit another band that used to play in Dothan every 3 or 4 months, that I would never go in Dothan, Alabama again. And then was down in the Panama City area when that hurricane came through. And of all places, naturally, they booked us in Dothan, Alabama. And so the hurricane come up on through the Gulf and come through and went over Dothan. And we were making a beer run and got back right as the storm was coming over. And I was twice in my life, I know that I actually ran in a hurricane. And Snooze come up with that line, and I thought, classic, let's put it in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Donnie, my apologies, my friend. I heard that you were going to be doing some session work with my wicked twin. Maybe I got it wrong. Of course, you are with Creatures of Condition, and we love Creatures as well. We really do. John Pater says, Run Through the Hurricane sounds like a great song title.
It would be. It would be.
It would be. Absolutely. Love that idea, John. I really, really do. So, without further ado, I think we should really, for the first time, and release it for the first time, let everybody know all about it. Here is Terry Vuncannon and Benny Johnson on vocals with Bucket List. Rockin' Rodwell is with us as well. Nice to have you on board, Rockin'. Benji, did Terry warn you about me by any chance?
It's me.
I got no advance warning.
You didn't? Oh.
None.
Okay. Well, I'm formerly a stand-up comedian as well. Okay? And I do from time to time seem to spring some jokes on people. So, you know, I thought I'd warn you first in case Terry didn't.
Oh.
But
That's okay, I'm ready, man.
you guys are coming into winter over there right now, right? We're about to start summer, and believe me, it's getting bloody hot in here, I got to be honest with you. But last year, one of my best friends was sort of in a bit of strife, and he rang me up and he says, come over, will you, please? And I went, what's the matter? He goes, I got to go to the doctor's. I went, why? He goes, because I've been sitting outside sunbathing in the nude.
Oh, no,
And I went, right? He goes, well, I got sunburnt in particular bits. And I went, really? That's interesting. Anyway, we took him to the doctor, and the doctor says, listen, soak it in milk. It's good for the skin, right? So I took him back home, and believe me, I tootled off to the toilet when his wife, blonde chick, comes into the house and takes one look at him sitting on the couch with his in a bowl of milk. And she stops and goes, holy F, I wondered how you reloaded those things.
Oh, Barbara.
Oh, that's a good
Wow.
one. That's a good one.
And
That's a good one.
it truly happened. I'm coming down the hall just in time to hear it. I thought, I'm going to use that one day.
Oh.
And you know what?
There you go. Well worth the sunburn for you, right?
Well, it was. Believe me, it was. I was the one that handed her the calamine lotion and said, you deal with that.
Good job.
Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Terry Vuncannon, coming out of North Carolina, and also new friend Benji Johnson. Now Benji, Raquel coming out of Indiana is asking us, how do we get hold of Earth Tones recordings? Are you on the internet? Are you on Facebook? You know, the whole platform there, you know, Twitter. Are you a talker, and do you respond if somebody does?
Right, yeah, definitely. I've got the website for the studio is earthtonesrecording.com. And so basically if you take Earth Tones, plural, technically plural with an S, recording, no S. So if you say the words Earth Tones Recording Studio and take the word studio off, it's earthtonesrecording.com. And I am on, I am personally on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The studio is on Facebook, and you can always contact me through any of that. My email is earthtonesrecording@gmail.com. But the website is going to tell you probably everything that you want to know.
Now, Terry, I've got a guy called Travis coming out of Washington State, and he's saying, when are you going to take this travelling roadshow and bring it down our way?
Well, maybe in 23. What do you think?
I think 23 is a great idea. We would love to have you down here, but I think he was talking more about in his state.
Oh, and where is he at?
He's in Washington. I think Seattle, something like that.
I'll just have to see with the economy opening up and everything. It's harder and harder to get 1, 2, 3 states away at the level of, you know, regional bands, citywide bands, statewide. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, fair enough too. By the way, we were following a festival happening over in Trippington in India over the weekend. A good friend of ours, Jay Pillai, had the International Independent Music Arts and Crafts Festival. It was an absolute brilliant show. If you haven't seen it already, I'll get Barbara to give you a few of the videos. Of course, there was a number of Galaxy artists there as well. You never know what might transpire for next year.
Yep.
I would love to be able to see you on stage.
And Terry's
I would
bringing
love
the
to.
lazy.
That's my
and
goal,
the
is to
back-
just
back-
play for as many people with the time I have left in life. That's all anybody wants to do. I've been blessed with several decades of live music, and I just want to do more.
Only several decades. Come on, you've got another couple of hundred decades in front of you, my friend, before we even consider anything like that. Benji, if you had the chance of coming to the Antipodes down here in Aotearoa with Terry, would you hop on board?
Let's go.
Let's
do
do it. I like that. No thinking about it. Straight overhead, straight away you're going to come here. But I'm not sure whether Terry's actually said this to you before, but if you are going to come here and hook up with me, my friend, there is one thing that I suggest to everybody that wants to get in hold with me: bail money.
I'll keep some pocket change. I'll keep some folding money ready for you.
Now, Chris Rohit says Benji got plans to make another Sonic Profits CD.
Aha! Not at the moment, but it would be really fun to do. I'm actually working on. I have a couple of different projects that I'm in the process of working on, but being fortunate enough to be as busy as I am in the studio, it's really, really, really hard to find the time to finish them. And it's sad because I keep saying that every year, and it's unfortunate that things go by, but I've got stuff in the can that I could release solo-wise, that I could do it. It's just taking the time, setting aside the time to, to let the inspiration kind of hit, and finishing things. I do have a pretty big record that I'm involved with that's coming out in 2023. And I've announced it, I've said it, so we're going to go ahead and start kind of teasing it. I'm working on I did a record with, myself and one of my former drummers. His name is Scotty Irving. He's quite an eclectic musician, and a gentleman by the name of Mike Watt. He's like a punk legend. Played bass for a band called the Minutemen. He was in Iggy Pop and the Stooges, and he's just like he's a legend. And I got hooked up through Scotty with him, and we did a record via file sharing, sort of back and forth. And so it's pretty cool. It's a really, really cool record. It's an 8-song record. We've got a label in Chapel Hill that's going to release it on vinyl. Chapel Hill's a town about 45 minutes from here, but they're an indie label that's going to release it on vinyl, coming in 2023. So I just turned in those mixes to my mastering engineer 2 days ago. And so once the masters come back, then we'll get all that done. But again, it hasn't, I've sort of maybe teased it and announced it, said a couple of things about it, but we're going to start putting together kind of a campaign to push that a bit. And as much as Watt being in the LA area and myself and the drummer being here and then the other guitar player being in Japan, the chances of a live show are slim, but they have already started talking about doing some of that stuff, which would be really fun, for me to do with those guys. I don't play a lot live anymore because I'm so busy in the studio. And again, it's fortunate to do that, but it's a shame that I don't get to play out as much as I used to, but it's coming.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I really do. Brian Wayne Perry says, Grant, I got Mel's money. Yeah, good on you. And we would love to have you over here too, Brian. Molly Deletri is joining us. How's Charlie? Yeah, absolutely. I knew that. It was just somebody had said something in the background. Now, having said the something's in the background, I have a young man here who says, are there any retail outlets for Terry V Muse lap steels?
You can find my lap steels online. Look for vmuselapsteels.com, I think it is. Or just Google V-Muse lap steel, and that's V-M-U-S-E lap steels. I think I do them in batches of 4. I think I've got one finished of a last batch, 3 of them already sold, and I will string it up and quality test it in the next week or so, and then start another batch. But yeah, that's all I play now are my V-Muse, and it makes me feel guilty with all the National Dynamics, the Fender lap steels, the Asher, other things that I have sitting around, because I always head toward the door, heading to a gig, and I grab one of my V-Muse. They're really, you can't beat a good slab of mahogany with a soap bar pickup on it. It's classic stuff.
Absolutely, Terry, and I'm right there with you. Now, Benji, I got to be honest with you, I saw you holding up a copy, a CD of Bucket List. I did see this, yeah. So, okay, guys, when are you going to send me some so I can do a giveaway?
I'll do that. I need to get you that. And also, Bucket List is on my new vinyl.
Well, you better
where-
be sending
where
me
did you
one
get
of
those?
Come on.
Well, it was on my bucket list. I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do a vinyl record. It's 9 cuts on it. Bucket list is on it. Cruise on down the road. Juke joint. Just a lot of the stuff I've recorded over the last little while. And I don't know. Everybody just kept saying, you got to have vinyl. You got to have vinyl. And the last time I was on vinyl was in 1980 with Down Home in Randolph. And that's the reason I started writing songs in 2019, was coming up on 40 years of the first time I stepped into a recording studio. So I started writing songs. Then COVID hit, and I quit the band I was playing with and decided rather than put an album out, I'll just put singles out every 3 or 4 months while the music scene is shut down. And so that's what led to you guys messaging me and us meeting and finding new fans all around the world thanks to you. And then over the last few months, before the pumpkin season hit, I thought, I'm going to do a vinyl record. And so I put this together, and you haven't even seen that.
Now, Terry.
See, Terry doesn't tell me.
You're busy all the time.
Terry.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a vinyl kind of guy too, Terry, to be honest with you. And this is what I received in the mail just the other day, literally from a good friend of ours, Franco Nanucci.
I saw you opening that online, yeah.
Yeah, now I've got to ask you, is your one as sexy as that?
No. I actually did something that I found quite humorous.
Oh, I'm ready.
One of my favorite albums in the world was by this little band from England, and they went with a format, and I did the same thing. It's like the White Album.
Oh, right on.
Believe me, I know the band you're talking about as well, and love the White Album.
So I went with the simplicity, just because I thought I wanted to do stuff like some of my idols.
That brings back memories, my friend. I love vinyl, I really do. I got a Technics at home. The hardest thing I have with my stereo literally is finding a stylus for it every now and again.
Well, I imagine you turn it up so loud that it skips too, don't you?
I skip. I don't know about the records. I don't know. Now, my friends, we're going to have to wrap it up right now, but I do have to thank you so much for joining us. And Benji, don't go anywhere just yet, because as Terry will tell you, we do a few backstage things afterwards. Take a few photos. Barbara puts it all together in a movie on YouTube, which will be around when the dinosaurs come back. And then I do got to ask you though, Benji, have you ever been a cartoon before?
Well, I'm sure depending on who you ask, my behavior could probably be considered cartoonish at sometimes. But I've only been in one caricature, I think.
Okay.
So
okay, well,
am I
going
to be made into a cartoon?
Yeah, you're going to be now, unfortunately. And Terry knows what I'm talking about. I tell you what, here's a funny thing that really happened the other day. I was in the supermarket and this lady comes up and she's staring at me and I went, "Hello, can I help you?" And she goes, "You look nothing like your cartoon." How do you take that? I mean, seriously, how do you take that? Believe me, you smile and say, "Thank you very much. I'll make sure that the cartoon follows next time."
Did you say thanks? I think.
Yeah, I did.
Can I tell a real quick story? I know we got to end, but this guy and myself were destined to be friends because one of the first times I noticed him at a show, he was playing in a band. I think it was the Benjamatics then.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing an acoustic dobro type instrument with a pickup on it, and he had it laying on an ironing board. And I looked across the room and thought, I need to get to know this guy.
Yeah, and I ran it through a Mesa Boogie amplifier that was so loud would make your hair stand up. So
Yeah.
that was a thing. God, forget about all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was something. That was fun.
You've still got the ironing board.
And it would feed. I'd probably do. It's probably around here somewhere. People would ask me what's the trick with the ironing board, and I was like, it's the only thing. I looked for a music stand for it. I looked for a keyboard stand for it, and it's the only thing I could think. I was like, and I remember telling a friend of mine, I was like, well, I'm looking for something that's about the size of an ironing board. It's kind of like about the height of an ironing board, and it's kind of flat like an ironing board. And he said, why don't you just go buy a damn ironing board? So I said, okay. So I did.
The wife wasn't unhappy with you using her ironing board?
If you know my wife, you know she does not like to. Neither one of us like to iron. So.
Yeah, me too.
And it was not hers. I went and bought a brand new one. Believe it or not.
Fair
Believe
enough.
it or not.
Fair enough. Stay safe by your own. Tommy Seelman is joining us, and unfortunately we're about ready and out of time. Donnie Coulter says, I'm looking at vinyl on demand. Good on you, my friend. Do that. Nice amps in the background too from Donnie. So thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. It is an absolute pleasure. One more question to go. Terry, are we going to get anything new out of you in the near future?
Yes. I'm working on a couple of songs right now, and I'll keep you posted.
Please do that, my friend. You know we're big fans of yours, and now we're big fans of Benny's as well. Benny, I'm looking forward to a relationship in the near future, not only with Terry stuff, but your own stuff as well. And believe me, I think it's going to be an absolute pleasure to get to know you, sir.
Thank you, man. It's nice meeting all of y'all today.
Oh, and Ashley Pater's joining us. We're going to be catching up this week. We really are. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of days, Ashley. Got to congratulate you. I really do. Loving the new work. I really am. But in the meantime, let me tell you how happy we are to be in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record, Sony Music, The Orchard, here with Galaxy.
Another indie artist interview brought to you by Galaxy 107 FM in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record and Sony Music The Orchard.